Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and you have come to the only channel that will never tell you that, well, they'll never say, oh, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, because it shares my videos everywhere. Well, let me tell you something. It's really nice when you do that kind of stuff. You hit the subscribe button, you hit the like button, but it's not going to get my videos shared everywhere. Oh, no. If you really want to share my videos, first of all, you can share them. Two, if you really want my videos shared around, the first thing I would do is watch this presentation all the way to the end, and also leave me a nice comment down here in the comment section below, because what YouTube is trying to do is to evaluate whether my video will keep you guys on their platform. Okay? So, the trick is, we want you to not only watch these videos all the way to the end, so it increases the watch time of the video, but also to leave me a nice comment to let YouTube know that yes, you watched all the way to the end. There you go. Alright, now the only other thing I'm going to mention right now is that I have 5 Kindle books. If you want to purchase any of them, please leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I will send you a link to at least one of them, and you can find the other 4 by just going to that one link. Alright? Alright. Let's get into this, shall we? Can you associate 3 English grammar terms with 3 computer terms? Well, it turns out, yes, you can. Now, for some of you who have been here for a while, do you recall, say about, I don't know, 15 years ago when I uploaded a video, basically with this kind of title? Well, I'm now updating this, okay? Now I'm going to start with the grammar term noun. There you go. Now, I did upload a video about the etymology of the word noun. Well, that etymology reveals that the English word noun comes from the Latin word nomen or nominus, which means to name. Okay? So, the definition of this... Okay, we got that. A web page object can be associated with the word noun because... if you use the word ball to describe a physical ball, then the effect is the same thing in computer web page terms, because if you have a text box, well, that's a text box. It's not doing anything. You're not changing the look of the text box. You're just saying that's the text box. There you go. Now, as you well know, most nouns have adjectives associated with them. There you go, adjectives. Okay? Now, what you may not know is that the word adjective has an etymology as well. And I covered this in a previous video on my YouTube channel. You can look it up for yourself. And there is a prefix on that word, which is ad, okay? And that is the prefix to or towards. And it also has, you see it, when it comes to adjective, you see jectus, but the problem with jectus is that the J was actually spelled with the letter I instead of letter J, and so therefore it sounded more like jectus instead of jectus, because I was basically Y in Latin. So what you had was adjectus, which means to throw towards. So what this adjective does is it throws a description towards a noun. Or it can throw a description towards a verb. Okay? And we can go through all of this, and we're not going to go through a whole thing. So, if you want to describe, say, let's say you have a car, and you want to say it's a yellow car. Well, the yellow would be an adjective, whereas the car would be a noun. See what I mean? And so what you have with computers is you have the object, which would be a text box, and then if you wanted to change the size of the text box, or maybe the color inside the text box, or maybe the border of the text box, or you go on or whatever, you would change the property. So in the same way as a web page object is really a noun, then therefore a web page property is the same thing as an adjective. That's what I'm going for here. Okay? Now, many nouns can do things. Okay? Let me explain that to you. Let's say you have a bicycle. Bicycles go forward. And if you're somehow really, really clever, somehow they can go backwards too. Or they can actually fall to the ground and you get injured because, say, you have a flat tire and all of a sudden your bike comes to a screeching halt and it throws you off the bike and your bike lands on somebody's lawn. At least we hope it lands on a lawn, or it could land on a road, and that would really be bad. But anyway, there you go. So, we had your noun, we have your adjective, and now we have the word verb. And this word verb sounds a lot like the English word herb, H-E-R-B. That's beside the point. Point is that it depends on who you ask as to how the word verbum is actually pronounced. Okay, you have verbum. This is a Latin word. And believe it or not, this Latin word actually means word. You're like, wait, what? Are you kidding me? Verbum means word? Yep, it does. Alright, so you could have action verbums and passive verbums. Now the thing is that if you ask some Latin teachers, they'll call it verbum, because they pronounce all the V's as W's. But whichever way you want to go with this, there you go. So, the thing is that a verb is usually an action word. It can be passive as well, but it can usually be an action. Now, if it's an action, that means the action is happening towards something. Okay? So, if your bicycle hits a fire hydrant, then the action is transferred from the bicycle to the fire hydrant. What is a passive verb? Well, a passive verb means that the action is transferred back to the subject. So, if your bicycle hits the fire hydrant, then the vibrations for the fire hydrant, because you hit it, would transfer back to the bicycle. Get the picture? Okay. I mean, I could go through this grammar all day long, but we're not going to do that here. But the main thing is that when it comes to web pages, usually what you'll have is methods. What does the text box do? Well, in this case, the text box really doesn't do anything. However, if you had a command button, say you had a command button like that, and you clicked it with your mouse, it'd do something. Your web page would actually do something. So you can have command buttons, radio buttons, you name it, and if you click them, then boom, they'll do something. Anyway, so if you have a noun in English, you'll have an object on a web page. If you have an adjective in English, you will have a property on a web page. If you have a verb in English, you will have a method on a web page. And that's how that works. Alright. I want to thank you very, very much for watching this particular presentation. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.